Xenoblade Chronicles initially released in Japan in 2010 and later came to other regions after Operation Rainfall, a campaign to bring RPGs overseas. In the first game, you play as Shulk, aiming to take down the Mechon after they kill his childhood love Fiora, but the story gets so much more complicated from there. You meet Melia of royalty, Ricky who somehow has like a dozen children, Charla the medic, and are accompanied by Shulk's childhood friend Ryan and Fiora's brother, the wounded Dunban. You explore beautiful and sprawling worlds on the Bionis and the Mechonis, two dead titans interlocked into war. The combat is real-time sort of, but it's incredibly complex, and you can use Shulk's Monado to intercept divisions. This game considers this ability the principal theme of the game from a gameplay and story perspective, and you do have to consider its ethical purpose in the world as you play. Xenoblade X would release on the failing Wii U in 2015. This game is not related to the direct trilogy though. X is an open world game that focuses on mechs more in combat and feels a bit more like an MMO at times. Xenoblade 2 would release in the first year of the Nintendo Switch. This game follows Rex, who dies early on, only to be revived after a promise to take the blade Pyra to Elysium. Pyra can transform into Mithra, who's mean. Traveling alongside you is Gormati Nia, who goes through her own arc discovering her identity, as well as Team Rocket impersonators, Tora, who's sus, and Morag, who serves as the voice of reason. The game is completely different to Xenoblade 1, from everything down to the controversial anime art style to the combat system, which revolves around drivers and their blades they respectively hold. It's arguably the worst game in the franchise, though not everyone thinks so, but it's honestly extremely confusing, with tutorials that are misleading and a bit too short, and the story's pacing is infamous for how slow it takes to get going. Still, some people love this game dearly, and there's a lot to it that is still done very well. A big complaint among fans was that this game didn't really make sense, which was rectified in DLC releasing the following year, Torna the Golden Country. Xenoblade 1 was re-released on the Switch in 2020 with a remake. This is a much better adaptation of the game that came with various quality of life changes, along with a side story DLC being future connected, which took place on a cut area from Xenoblade 1. This story is probably the weakest in the franchise, but expands Melia's character and provides context to enemies who would appear later in the franchise. Finally, Xenoblade 3 would release in 2022. This game is considered by many to not only be the best in the series, but one of the best RPGs ever made, and it was nominated for 3 Game Awards. This game basically takes the worlds of the first 2 Xenoblade games and merges them together as Ionios. 2 nations are at war. We have Noah, Uni, and Lands on the Kavesi side, and Mio, Senna, and Taion on the Agnian side. 2 factions pair together to form the Ouroboros and free many different colonies from the cycle. The themes of this game revolve around conformity and how characters don't understand basic human normalities like we do. The gameplay is also perfection, with the best and most customizable combat system I've perhaps ever seen in an RPG. Future redeemed DLC for this game would conclude the Xenoblade trilogy. I'm going to be talking about this series on my channel soon, so subscribe. Sten, please don't cut this line.